So I'm just gonna say it right here, but on a visual and technical standpoint, I think The Amazing Spider-Man 2 is the best film in that regard. Actually, we can say say whatever we want about the plot of the film, the script, the story, how bloated it is, and how messy the script is. But I can't deny that on a visual and technical standpoint, this is simply the best Spider-Man film. Because seriously, like first of all, this film was shot in 35 millimeter film, and you can tell the colors they pop, and that also has to do with the color grade. Even when it comes to the color grade, this movie looks colorful and it looks amazing. Like, I never get tired of looking at the Amazing Spider-Man 2, because it's such a beautiful looking film. And I think the VFX, the swinging scenes, um, all of that, the action scene, like the way everything looks, it's just so good. Everything is just so perfect. And if I can't help but imagine, like, if we had, like, if this movie had, like, I don't know, Brand New Day or levels of storytelling, this would easily be the best Spider-Man film of all time, and I don't think we'd be ready for that. And also, this is a very popular opinion, but I also share the same opinion. But the Amazing Spider-Man 2 suit, one worn by Andrew Garfield himself, that is single-handedly the best Spider-Man suit, live action suit ever. I'm just gonna say right there, that's just the obvious truth. Every time it's on screen, like the way the red fabric it shines, and the texture on the blue, and like the wide eye, the wide, the big lenses, and it's not just white, but there's certain types of lighting and angles where you can tell like it's a reflective even. And it's just such a beautiful suit. And I think the Andrew Garfield's, like, his form, his body, I think it also works. It feels very much like comic Spider-Man. I think he has that physique from the comics, and it also makes the suit even look better, because I think if you had any other actor wear that exact suit, it wouldn't hit the same. But because it's Andrew Garfield under that suit, I think it's what makes it like, okay, yeah, this is like the best Spider-Man suit ever. And I would even go to say that the new Brand New Day suit comes at a close second now. Even though it's very recent, it just came out, I would say it's pretty damn close to this one. And I also know that they also took lots of inspirations from the Amazing Spider-Man 2 suit, and even the Sam Raimi suit. Like, if I compare it to all the other Spider-Man movies, for example, if we talk about the Raimi trilogy, on a visual and technical standpoint, it's still pretty damn groundbreaking. It's, at the time it was such a shock, like, oh shit, like a swinging scene, like this looks amazing. And but it also had that like early 2000s feel to it. Like, it wasn't super stylized. There was a lot of like that Sam Raimi flair, obviously, but like that, I don't know. There's something about Amazing Spider-Man 2 where the style is there. It feels very comic book like. Whereas the Raimi trilogy felt like, okay, they were watching like a film, and those were also shot on film as well, and that helps a lot as well. And but I think the Amazing Spider-Man 2 combined, like, okay, this looks like a movie, but also let's also make it very comic book like as well. And I think they really nailed that aspect. And then you compare that to the Tom Holland movies, and it's easily understand. Like, I definitely think that the Tom Holland movies have a way better plot, way better storytelling than the Amazing Spider-Man movies, obviously. But I also think that in terms of a visual and technical standpoint, I'm not really the biggest fan of the Home trilogy. The suit is CGI for like 80% of the time, and you could tell like there's something about the fabric, even about the suit, that's just not as appealing, and they definitely fixed that in the Brand New Day suit. But I don't know, even the action, the visuals, it wasn't, but it was still a very good movie, because it had the story. The story was there, the plot was there, everything was in place in that aspect. And I think for a movie like the most important thing I think is the story. I think the visuals and the technical aspect always come second, but when the visuals and technical aspect really excel, you know, we can still acknowledge it as well. And this is exactly what I'm doing with the Amazing Spider-Man 2. If only like the story was a lot better, and but it's still, you know, The Amazing Spider-Man 2, despite all its flaws, I think it's still a very, very entertaining movie. I think it's just such a fun movie to watch, despite, you know, the bloatedness of it. I mean, I never get tired of watching this film. And I think the visual aspect really does help as well. You're just kind of like, okay, like you're just going from one plot to another. You're introducing this ridiculous subplot in, but man, this movie looks great, and you have Spider-Man, and on top of that, I think what's also important is that you have a good Spider-Man actor, and I think when you have Andrew Garfield playing Spider-Man, I think, you know, this is debatable. You know, obviously the Amazing Spider-Man films are not the best Spider-Man movies. They don't have the best story and everything, but there's no denying that Andrew Garfield is, well, for me anyway, I think for me, he's my favorite Spider-Man actor. Like, hands down. Like, I don't know, there is something about the physicality, you know, and the way he moves, his mannerisms, and the lines he got. He had the quippiness, he had the arrogance, the cockiness. He just, you know, the way he kind of just did like that, and it just like felt like, I don't know, it just felt like a person where it just felt like Spider-Man was a persona that he was putting on, and where like the moment he wears the mask, like he becomes this other being, you know, and once he becomes Peter Parker, he's like another person. And I think that's what makes Spider-Man Spider-Man. It's like once you put on that mask, you become like almost a different person. I think Andrew really nailed that. And not to say that, you know, Tobey and Tom Holland are bad. I mean, I love all of them, definitely. But if I had to pick the one that had like the transformation and the performance and the mannerisms, like I think Andrew really got it. And I think Andrew also really nails all the emotional aspects. You know, despite the messy plot and everything, he really still gave it his all. You know, you're watching that scene when you know Gwen is dead, and you know, Andrew's there, and it's still heart-wrenching. It's seriously, it still hits to this day, and he still gave it his all, you know, despite the way Sony was treating him at the time, and he wasn't agreeing with the direction that they were going with this franchise and everything. He still gave it his all. He still gave like the best performance out of like all of the Spider-Man actors out there. And again, Tobey and Tom are amazing. Seriously, they're still great. But yeah, I'm probably going to be doing some more Spider-Man videos because of a brand new day that just came out, and I'm looking forward to talking to you more about Spider-Man. But yeah, what did you guys think of this video? Let me know in the comments, like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys on the next one. See ya.